Redneck Mukk, peace. So, I got a lot of work to do. Oddly enough, I'm going to put that wheel back on. I know people are thinking, Mukk, you're going to paint it while you're putting the wheel on. Just to get it out of my way. It's more out of my way on the car than it is laying around the shop. So I'm going to put the wheel on, and I'm going to go inside, and I'm going to get 4 trash bags. I'm going to put a trash bag over each wheel, and that's the easiest way for me to wrap them up and not have to worry about getting paint and stuff on them. And then I'm going to do a bunch of sanding. So we'll see how it goes today. So I got the bag shook out. Thought I'd show you one just because, you know, they don't just really go right on. You got to kind of work them down. And some tires, they might not go on because it's too big, but, you know, my tires are just small enough that they'll work on there good and snug. Eventually the back side will get caught on the brake. Just pull that front side down, and then any kind of leftovers just kind of tuck in the wheel. There you go. So I thought to myself, in the middle of this sanding, and you guys must be getting bored, so I thought I'd show you my daughter's car real quick. When she was 15, she's like, I want a 60 Chevy. She wasn't real particular about what. I started showing her some, and we ran into this 67 Corvair. Of course, it didn't look like this. I should have done a video, but that is about $300 worth of bodywork and paint from something we pulled out of a field. The interior was gold, so those are 68 Camaro vinyl buckets that I covered her seats with, and then, you know, the dash pad's cracked up, but, you know, we painted some stuff and cleaned it up, and it's a pretty good little car. And that's its signature right there. So Char is not perfect. She's had a couple dents and dings, and my daughter's now in college, so she drove this all through high school, and she did not take it to college because, you know, I didn't figure it was a proper vehicle to trust a couple hours away. So anyway, but now it's her daily driver during the summer, and I drive it some during the winter. But if you see this guy right here, the car's name's Char. I don't know if you guys can see that real well or not. I'll try to get it there. But so that license plate I had made for her goes along with the handprint. She's a big fan of the TV show Supernatural, and if you know anything about Supernatural, Dean, one of the main characters, was pulled from hell by an angel named Castiel, and when he did, it left a big handprint on his shoulder, almost like a little birthmark scar or dealio. And so we pulled Char here out of a field, and, you know, she was kind of destined to die sitting in that field. So I felt the need to pay a little homage to her and that show, and you know, it was my daughter's favorite show, and so I took my hand and I put a big old handprint on her, what I would consider her shoulder, maybe not her shoulder, I don't know, but because we pulled her out, and You know, she's been a good little car. Everybody kind of talks about the Corvairs being the most dangerous vehicle on the road. You know, it feels real comfortable at 70 mile an hour. It runs good. It brakes good. It uses a little oil, but you know, it's a 67, and the motor's never been rebuilt that I know of. So yeah, use a little oil. It's fine. But it really doesn't get bad mileage. Yeah, all around, it's just not a bad little car. And she actually had a fender bender just recently with it. Somebody pulled out in front of her and she tried to avoid her. So that might be something you see in a video in the future. A little winter project going on maybe. But anyway, there we go. That's a shark car. So I wish you guys could feel just how smooth some of this is. I don't know if you noticed how I was using the DA. So you got this body line right here. So I was kind of using the DA down. And then when I come up here, I'd use the DA up to try to highlight that body line a little bit. You know, she's definitely not perfect. This is, without a doubt, the curviest car I think I have ever sanded. There are so many little dips and grooves that you don't even expect to be a dip or groove. It looks flat and you're like, nope, that dips down. You know, it's not perfect. It's not intended to be perfect. It's intended to be driven. It's intended to be, you know, used. A little abused, and hopefully when she's all done, a nice smoky burnout or something, that'd be good. But yeah, I'm not going to prime her tonight. This is kind of one of the good things about a fiberglass car. So if this was a metal car, where you see fiberglass here, that would be metal exposed, and you can't leave that overnight. But since it's fiberglass, I can leave it alone and not get bugs deep diving into my wet primer as the evening's coming on. And we'll give her another shot tomorrow and get some primer on her. And she's coming around. I don't know. We'll see. Weekend plan could be paint. So at this point, I'm going to wipe it down with these blue towels. I find they don't leave a lot of lint, and that's good. So I'm going to wipe it down with the blue towels, and then I'm going to prime it again, and I'll let it set probably for at least 24 hours before I sand it more, just so I know the primer's good and cured and it doesn't gum up my sandpaper or nothing like that. So yeah, cue the speed. So there we go. Right about 5 cans of primer. Not quite. You can already see some bugs or something took a dive on it. I don't know if you've seen, a red wasp was chasing me around, and he dropped something on it, like he pooped on it, and buzzed around my head a few times and ran off. You know, it's far from perfect, but she's coming around, and you know, like I said, my goal was never for her to be perfect. This is the save it mode, and make it decent, make a nice driver out of it, something, you know, people come check out. And you know, you might say, Muck, why did you use can primer? Well, so I don't paint a lot of cars anymore. When I painted cars all the time, I always had primer around. But now, you know, I buy a gallon of primer and I use half of it and the other half goes bad. So I'm like, it's just easier to buy cans and keep them stored. And you know, when you need them, they're good. When you don't, they're stored. You're fine. So that's why I kind of prefer can primer. I mean, I started off with can primer. You know, I don't know, 10-year-old Muck primered his bicycle. You know, 13, well, maybe not even 13, 12-year-old Muck. 12-year-old Muck was helping his brother prime his car, you know, as we sanded it and did body work on it. It was a 65 Nova wagon. And, you know, back in the day. And, you know, just can primer. Can primer, I've used it a lot. So it's far from perfect, but, you know, it's getting the job done. And she'll look pretty good when she's done. Hopefully you guys will see me out and about in her and you'll wave and say, hey, Muck, there's that red wasp. I don't know if you can see him buzzing around over there. He's still looking for a spot. I don't know. He might have a little home up here in it somewhere, and he is not happy with me at all. Not happy. Not happy at all. But anyway, peace. Now for 220. 220 sandpaper is next. It's going to be quick. Probably only 2 pieces of sandpaper, and I'm not really worried about getting every little nook and cranny. Just trying to make everything kind of slick and smooth, and make sure it looks good, and then it'll be more primer. Gives you a little idea how fast I was going. You look at this little trigger right here. So you got to really have it down on the body to be able to feel it, so you know how fast it's going. But that's how you control your DA's speed. You need that quite a bit. If you're working in an area that's a little more sensitive, you need to slow it down some, and you know, that's how you do it. You slow it down there, and I don't know if I'm getting me or not, but you know, getting a little bit of everything. So you can see I use the heck out of that sandpaper, and only had 2 sheets anyway, so it is what it is. I got a little bit of 320. I'll blow this dude off and wipe it down. Probably hit some spots with primer. I'm not going to prime the whole car. And then tomorrow, hopefully, I will come out here and hand sand it with some 320. Mainly where it needs it. Some places might not get sanded at all. This 220 might have got all they got. And then in my book, I'm ready for paint. And we'll see how she comes out. So we'll see what happens from here. I'll wipe it down, and I'll blow it off and wipe it down. I'll hit them spots with primer, and I'll let you guys hyperlapse that. I saved one little spot. You can see just how dark my garage can be. So you can kind of see. I'm hoping I can get this right. I might flip you. That might be. How's that? Can I see better that way? I think I can. I think I'm gonna flip you back. All right. See if I can do this without screwing it up, since I'm, trying to hold a camera and paint. Kind of give you an idea of what I'm doing with this primer. I'm just trying to cover the places where I got all my primer off and went through to the fiberglass. I didn't want that fiberglass showing through. There's a little spot right here. But I mean, you can see the rest of that quarter. There's a white paint spot. It doesn't really bother me. I can hit it if I want to. But the fiberglass is where I'm wanting to make sure I've got coverage. So, but anyway, that's what I was doing. I wanted you to see it in a little more real time and get an idea of how Mukk tackles it. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying there's not better ways. I'm saying this is how I do it. And I know she'll look pretty good when I'm done. Well, like I said a good long time ago, I'm not aiming to be perfect. I just wanted to look pretty good. Spot down here. But yeah, if mediocre's your game, I'm your man, because I just don't want to do perfect anymore. You know what? Perfect is hard. It's real hard. And being satisfied with a project and loving to drive it, I think that's what's important anymore. So yeah, I'll see y'all tomorrow.